Um, Hi, I'm British and I'm here. I'm a Bangladesh game developer, and I'm here to talk about my game, Control Override, which is a simple puzzle game with you share controls with the environment to solve puzzles in unexpected ways. Quite in simple nature, it took me quite a lot of time to make this. During the time, I had the time to think about a lot of things, and I would like to share them. Um, about the stream itself, I will not be playing to the entirety of the game. Instead, I will be playing to a handful of levels to show what's interesting about the game mechanics, and then I'll dedicate the rest of the time talking to you about what's interesting about the story, and also try to explain whatever the hell our shooting protagonist is. So, let's start at level. The base idea here is that you don't have the ability to move from the get-go. You need to obtain these cards to move to that direction. For example, this. Going to get this by shredding, and then you can move in that direction. And you need to obtain the corresponding direction to move in there, like this going left, and then right. So these are the first two levels, and these are mostly centered around teaching the player how the game works. And this is another extension of the mechanic. You can share your controls with the environment with these purple blocks, and I have shared my left direction of this, and I can move left, and now we'll move right, and well, and this is to show that it does not matter, the size of the object does not matter. And these are to introduce these one-way platforms, which are surprisingly complicated. This is to show how these one-way platforms start with the platforms that we can move, and they work just as complete. And a slight little peek of the story. And this is also to show how these platforms interact differently. Like you be helpful if it went down, but it won't. You can pass through these, so you just need to exit around this. The majority of the game is understanding these limitations and breaking them. You'll see more of that. This level is based entirely around wanting to go right, but never need to go right. So we'll never get this, and you don't need it. All you really need is some relative movement between you and the platform. Many ways to do this level, and the easiest way is to just jump and works. So I will not be showing any more of the tutorials levels. Let's get started. Let's start with the actual mechanic, what I consider the actual mechanic or mechanic of the game. Well, this is just a flashing level to distract you from what's actually happening in this level. Whenever you get something that like they the player whatever they want, you need to consider what happens when the player push themselves into a wall like this. Do you kill the player or do you just let them pass like that? Um, and that's what I chose, and that really gave it a right, gave rise to a lot of sort of interesting situations and puzzles. But I'd say this flipping manic is entirely the reason why I decided to even go forward with this game in the first place. So let's start with that. This entire level is a sword for whatever reason. So beginning, you will need to work on your instructions, and you will also need to master the flipping mechanic. So you can go down, but you can use the flipping mechanic to your just like this. And force it to go down. And yeah. And the previous two levels were just introducing the mechanic, but when you're working with such a weird mechanic like this, you really need to force the player to confront this in its entirety. Like this level, it's basically made to force you to use this and learn and use this mechanic. Like you can't move forward unless you go past this block by clicking right through. So with complicated mechanics like this, you need to gradually ease the player into understanding it. That's what we do with this tutorial level. Again, you need to click to this, use them as platforms, and do so again and again. The mechanics of the movement mechanics are a bit tricky, but so another look at this level is shaped like an infinite loop, and that's the idea behind the whole level. Well, you go here, 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 and then go up, down, and then back to the goal. When you design levels that are a bit longer like this, I always like to leave the exit in plain view of the player. Not forced to step there and also motivate them. And I find it works with these levels. This work based on playtesting. So when this thing is blocking the player way, you need to maneuver around it. You will move this platform there, so I will bring up this. And we will drive it. And you're going to be needing this to go back, because you can't jump that high here. Again, so I do that. I will be showing another step level now to showcase some of the other mechanics. So these are levels. They're based on this type of platforms, which you can make it, instead of just moving them, you can make them grow and shrink like this, and that actually goes really well with the whole flipping thing, as you'll see in a few minutes. So this level is meant to overrun the player. We have lasers coming from all directions, and it's actually not that hard. You just need an umbrella. This platform is your little umbrella. Oh, wait a minute, stick there. And those scary lasers are done. Don't you ride it, but you still have these lasers, so you just need to maneuver around them. I'd say the actual solution to most puzzles here in this game is just to punch yourself into a wall. Not kidding. As you can see, all of the lasers are just on. I'll skip on this level to show you a bit more interesting one. So this is another level that's just meant to only move lasers, but it's quite simple. The idea here is that you can need to block these by using this portion, this color portion of these blocks. So we've got to deal with every single thing to solve problems. That is the game. And you're going to create seed zones in these dangerous areas by using this clip mechanic. And we're done. This is just a random tool I made. Levels. We'll use my blur, I guess. So this will be the last level with this mechanic that I'll be showing, and it's quite a complicated one. It's also meant to teach the player about the integration of the flipping technique. But the way it works is that if you move yourself into a platform, you will fall. You can pass through them, but if you make the platform onto you, you will be able to get through it. I guess. So it's like bring the enemy to you and not the other way around. And as always, punch yourself into walls. Take that as a life motto. Okay. We have loads of scary layers coming from both directions, but we can manage them. This part is a bit funky. Uh, and we are out. So in order to get through here, you're gonna need two platforms, so we're gonna bring that up. You just need to think of line your steps in this, and then move. I would not really consider this a hard game, you just need to think of moves. So that concludes this mechanic, and then I will be showing the last mechanic, which actually he combines a lot of the cool things of this game, especially the hitting mechanic. So the idea here is that you need to think about the last few stretches, the last few levels that you need to think inside the box, outside the box, and on the very edges of the box. Right? These boxes are an extension of the input sharing mechanic. They will still be blocked by this type of environment. Yes, and you need to maneuver around them. I think these are the most interesting levels. And then you hold. And now we need to start going out of the box. Okay. And back into the box. And now we have layers. As always, you just need to move around. And more lasers. And this one will go to. We have another layer here, so we'll just do the same thing. And it's all. So I will show them the move, and then we'll get to the story. Again, this is the natural extension of the inside the box, outside the box. Will be on the edge of the box, and another box at the bottom. The box inside the box, and we will need to navigate around that. So we do it up. Except we can't. We need to push up, and then move that down, and then you're up. Like I said, these box mechanics are really to make use of the whole mechanic really well. And though I was not able to add this realistic amount, since spending utilizes many of the game's mechanics, the mechanics, I think they work really well as final level, final set of levels. So we are almost there. And we are at the destination. If you zoom out, you will see that this level is actually a snail. Zoom out now, but these are supposed to be the eyes of anyways. That concludes the by showcase of new experiments. So I will be moving on to the story portion. So let's get started. As an indie game developer, I had a lot of restrictions when designing the story. For example, I realized very early on that I could not have any complicated cutscenes because, well, I can draw or anything. It could still write. I decided to do a text-heavy story. And then when the question how to distribute the text, well, I thought that I could load its interface level, and the player comes to the level, they will be able to access it. Like this. If you open it, you will get an email about some information, and you can kind of move on. So, I thought this would act as a permission for the player for the levels, and I also wanted to make it optional so that the players who don't only want to bother with the levels could do that, could do just that. But then you'd also need to kind of that make your story. Like you get on for players who read and don't read the files. So and not only that, but your characters must also their character must also reflect as well. I'd say the most simplest rule of storytelling is that your viewer or reader or player character must share the same goal with the main character. That's not to say that this is an unanswered rule, or that you can break it, but that breaking it is not useful. But we're not going to be talking about that. We want a character that will that has the same goals as the player. The question is, what does the player want? Well, we have to consider the type of players with bias. Like this would be the type of person who just buys a random indie game, a puzzle game on Steam just because they found it and it looks interesting. So basically they want to solve puzzles. And why is that? Well, people say that they just enjoy the mental challenge of doing something complicated, figuring out about themselves. I found that this aligns well with the hacker mentality of doing complicated things, complicated and complex things, because you enjoy the mental thrill of it. And I settled that the main character would be a hacker very early on in the so now we have a character with a motivation, same motivation as the player, but most games, most of these investigative type of games where they tell the story bit by bit to unlockable bits like this, tend to stop there. They give the player a reason to player and the player character a reason to explore, but just stop there. That's because giving the player character a long backstory or details is a burden that you have to work around. You have to take a lot of time to exposition and backstory telling a backstory to make a detailed character. But I don't want a blank slate character. I want a detailed character. So the question is, how could I handle that into this already very limited game? So the solution I came up with was that uh, when the available files, they would be able to read hundreds of files like this, and they would also be able to complicate the thoughts of the player character. That is, he is a separate character. He's not a blank slate. He has his own internal thoughts and classes, and those will be reflected here in these bits. So this is a mail of a summer's promotion, and we can hear the main characters talk about this. And they are complicated and say several things about it. So it is main. So when I came out with this thing, the first thing I thought was that I can laugh with the player. It's easy to my personality, but when I think about it, thoughts are not so objective. They are subjective. They reflect the basis of the character. Those thoughts belong to. And in this, I explicitly designed the main character to be an underdeveloped member. So I don't like the term here. Originally biased character because it's not that the character remembers the wrong things or doesn't understand what he's remembered. It has the wrong idea, but it's that his interpretations of those events and the character those events have to do a lot, and this is the basis of the main character's entire character arc. And all of that is in this monster. That's it. In this monster. I did say we need to account for the player reading and not reading these things, and that needs to be reflected in the player character. So how does that work? If uh, the players reading these files because they're curious, and if they're not reading these files, they just want to focus on the puzzles. In this case, we have a lot. We have multiple motivations in the game, and they all exist simultaneously and are all plot for the main character because he has reasons to do both. If he doesn't want to read, he wants to read the files, it's because he's a hacker and hackers special case. And if he doesn't want to read the file, then well, since files are not passed, then he has some sort of trauma, that's a reason to not want to live the past, and that it was trauma. And that is also valid. The player could just ignore all of this and go straight to play with the puzzles and go to the end, and that will still work. It will still be about main character. And all of these are simultaneously possible unless the player sets their interpretation in stone to their actions. And by actions, I don't really mean A or B choices like in Telltale games. Um, I mean everything the player does. Like I said, choosing to play a puzzle means something for the player and the character. Choosing to beat these files is something for the player and the character. It says something about them. And you actually saying a lot of things without explicitly saying this to the player, telling them tell the player about this. So I think that there are these are so useful way to um uh this is a nice way to have some um secret source nice way to embed your story into your gameplay like this. And um I would even say that the mere presence of a manic it implies something about the world and the characters. For example, this thought bubble is essentially not very good model. But then the question is, why does it exist? What does it say about the characters? Well, it means that the character that is the main character has a lot of internal thoughts and does not normally share them. That's why the monologue. He has internal monologues and variables, and we are whether we're aware of it or not, we are understanding these bits of this character, and we are able to accept this with a bit. And these are optional. Like the player does not have to do this. So this is the player does not have to bother with these things. They do not have to care about the character. They display their character if they don't want to. They can just focus on the information and investigation. But the player character will naturally player and the player character's knowledge of the background of the game will change as they read more of these files and these thoughts. They are reactive to that. They change based on which files you've read. And like this is some sort of visualization of the main character's character development. And I think that's interesting. The other thing here is that the main character, well, is also a bit of a jerk. Um, like we have this thing over here, which is just some guy thanking him for being out. And what does he think about? Huh? He's like, who's this guy again? I don't remember him. He's basically nobody to him. The main character is a jerk. It's unlikable, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Even though we want the player character to share goals, that doesn't mean they need to like him. They just need to understand each other. Understand. And my goal with the story was that the player should at least eh, at the end of it, the player should understand the player character perfectly, even if they don't understand they like him or agree with him. And I think I managed to do that based on what the people who lied after put up an in-game form after playing the game, which I sneaked in right here, and then it would be the very last level. So so that is how the game works. Basically, you have these puzzle levels that to solve, and you can also choose to read these files, and all of this is then perfect with some of these. You have these cutscenes that you can watch, and these will also often involve the content of these files and will acknowledge whether or not you have read them. So the game isn't quite interactive as I remember for a lot of it, but it's still there. So let's watch some cutscenes, and we'll talk a bit more about the games. This is for fun. And we're introduced to the other. Again, the last time was a bit cheesy, but it was intentionally cheesy. The main character himself is supposed to sort of think that's mentioned and reject it. And the second one. I'd say the story doesn't really come into its own until the second thing. So don't give up in the game if you're missed that point. Yes. So we'll be watching another cutscene. Okay. So just I'm giving a definition of the game, a game inside a game is a bit redundant, but it's still part of the themes of the game. Sorry. I think the best and entirely was wasted. And a bit about treating this like a game. I put that in section A because the people who just go to the game without reading the science and just solving the puzzle, they are treating this game in the most basic way possible. They are just treating it as a set of challenges. They're just doing this just for the thrill of it, just like the hacker who just hacks for the thrill of it. That is exactly the type of uh, character this main character is, unless you read the science. So you can say that the player's motivations are reflected in the player character that way. And all of that, all the themes fundamental in the band ending, which we'll be getting right now, if people do. And I I don't like the term bad ending. I would like to call it a valid ending because it's still valid for the character himself. I think it's possible for the character to be. So not so much. And so the last cutscene we will watch here. So yeah. And that is the ending. Well, let's go down to um, so the idea behind that ending was to directly confront the players who have been doing that, who've been ignoring the other part of the game from it, and to start to come up with them that the game offers more. And um, they are just treating the game in a shallow way. Um, uh, this part was a bit inspired by games like 999, where the bad ending the characters and the story, and also start with the motivation from there. I think we should, as an indie game developer, you should do their bit to our small to tell the story with a limited capabilities. And a bit more more interesting. The game never says dot end since there are multiple endings, and this is the first mission not an end because it's not quite an ending yet. And you should expect more if you want. So yeah. So that's all I'll be showing. I would encourage you to buy the game and go through the game yourself. And the true ending, I personally consider the 2 hour or so taking the game to be getting to the true ending. And whatever part game the price game is, I made this game by myself and another person like handling the music and the script. And I think that the ending is ultimately quite optimistic and has a pretty interesting message. So, people to experience it, and you should hit like I'm happy for me. So yeah. So if anyone else, that will be